my channel, everybody. I'm a kid critic, and today I thought about recently I finished watching all of the Batman movies since before I hadn't seen all of them. But now that I've seen all of them, I am going to rank all of the Batman movies. Now, the thing is, I'm not including Zack Snyder's Justice League or the original Justice League, but if you want to know where those things are, if I included them, Justice League would have been at the bottom, and Justice League, not Zack Snyder's Justice League, Justice League would be at either 4 or 3. So yeah, sometimes it goes higher, sometimes it goes lower. It's hard to place. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop right into things. Easily in last place is Batman and Robin. Of all these movies, I'm pretty sure everybody would place this movie in last place. This movie is straight up awful. Now, at times, it's so bad, it's good. It's very much an entertaining movie. But that doesn't make it, but it's just still bad. It's unforgivable what they do to Bane. Like, literally, Bane is, like, at the time, he was, like, the biggest Batman villain. He's the one who broke the bat, and then they just botched him up into a guy who goes, it's just stupid. Why would they do that? It ticks me off. It makes me angry. This is definitely the worst Batman movie, but if I include Justice League, this would be lower, but I think this is better than Justice League. It's not the worst comic book movie. My least favorite comic book movie is definitely Justice League. But number 11 is Batman 66. Now, I think I can also have a fun time. This movie isn't particularly good, but it is so entertaining. I think that it has by far the worst. I think it has the worst effects out of all Batman movies. Adam West is definitely one of the weaker versions of Batman, but I can still always have fun with it. I just don't think it's a very good movie. It's okay. So yeah, number 11. Number 10, Batman Forever. I can get a good amount of fun out of Batman Forever. It's not the best movie, but it is so fun. It's one of those it's a guilty pleasure. Definitely a guilty pleasure. The action is very fun. I love the Riddler in this movie. I don't love Two-Face, but my God, I'm a big fan of the Riddler in this movie, mainly because it's Jim Carrey, and I'm a sucker for Jim Carrey. But still, wow, I really enjoy this movie. Number 9, Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition, the better version, the Ultimate Cut. This is definitely better than the theatrical cut. I think that this movie is definitely has some issues. Some of the effects are mediocre. And but still, I think it's a good time. I think that the action is really, really good, especially that warehouse fight is probably the best Batman action scene we've gotten, even with Batman out. But still, this movie is great. The score is also great, just like Man of Steel. But it's just hard. But also, Batman just straight up mows people down with machine guns. I love Ben Affleck as Batman, but I think he's better in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So it's Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition, number 9. Number 8 is the Lego Batman movie. Now, I really enjoy this movie. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just so fun. But of course, it still has a couple issues. While it's a good Batman movie, I've always felt it also has, like, Voldemort, the Eye of Sauron. Also, the final act is a bit too chaotic, but still, those nitpicks aside, I think this might be the best of the Lego movies between this and the original Lego movie. I think that Robin is such a likable character in this movie. All the characters are just so likable. I think the action is really fun, even though the final act goes a bit too far with with Voldemort and all these other villains showing up. That's a bit far, but still love this movie. Still love this movie. I can't give it a 10 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10, or a 7.5, but I still really, really do like this movie. Number 7 is Batman 89. Yeah. I think that Batman 1989 is still very fun. Some people think it should be higher. I just think some elements haven't aged the best. Like I think that's a bit too cheesy, and it's just like it feels a little bit weird if you watch it nowadays. And also, I didn't grow up with this. I don't have any nostalgia for it. So yeah. So it's number 7 on my ranking. Number 6 is Batman Returns. I personally think this is better than Batman 1989. I think this is an amazing movie. I think that it is a 9 out of 10 probably. It's just so good. Michael Keaton is definitely one of the best. It's like he's like the 4th best. You know what? I'll save who's the best Batman for my ranking of the Batman actors, because today I'm going to send out a bunch of 3 different Batman rankings. Probably even more. Maybe even more. But yeah, this isn't going to... So yeah, but kind of going... I think that Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is amazing. I still think Zoe Kravitz is a bit better of a Catwoman, in my opinion, just because she's more comics accurate. But still, I think Michelle Pfeiffer is fantastic as Catwoman, and she is close to being the best one. Now, the issue here is that it's so dark, and it definitely has the most use of blood out of all the Batman movies. And this movie, honestly, probably should have been rated R for all the blood, but still, nitpicks aside, I love this movie a lot, and I don't understand the people who don't like it. I think it's better than you might remember. Number 5 is Batman Mask of the Phantasm. This movie is epic. I think the Phantasm is great. As a villain, the action is superb. Mark Hamill's Joker is better than ever in this movie. I love Batman the Animated Series. My God, I love this movie so much. I wanted to put it a bit higher. But honestly, it's just a little too short. And that's my issue with the movie. It's too short. But still, I love this movie. I think it's just the score is stunning. I wanted to put this in my top 3, but there are just a few other Batman movies that I like a little bit more than this one. I'm sorry if some of you Batman Mask of the Phantasm fans would put this in the top 3. I'm sorry. I just didn't grow up with this movie. I still love it a lot. I think it's a 9 out of 10 movie. So good. But number 4, Batman Begins. The first of the Nolan trilogy is the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. Might be the best trilogy. Might be in my top 3 movie trilogies of all time, if not my number 2 or 1. I think this is one of the best Batman movies of all time, one of the best comic book movies of all time. I think this movie is fantastic. I love this movie. I think Ra's al Ghul is a great villain. Scarecrow is okay. But still, I think I don't like the action in this movie, which is what held it back. The action was just so quick-cutty. The action just really sucked. So, yeah. But everything else about the movie, I like a lot. But, yeah. Number 3. The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, I'm putting The Dark Knight Rises above Batman Begins. I know some of you are probably going to get mad at me about that, but I personally like The Dark Knight Rises a little bit more than Batman Begins. The scale is just went up. I think the action is just so awesome. Bane is a great villain until the final twist with Talia al Ghul, but the rest of it is just so good. I think that I wanted to put this higher, but of course, Talia al Ghul, I don't like that twist. And when she started acting, when she died, it was just like she was just like, my father's work is done. Oh, right, my character's supposed to die. It was just horrible acting. But I think the rest of this movie is fantastic. It could have been a masterpiece if you just removed that Talia al Ghul twist and had Bane be a better villain. made Bane just the straight up main villain and not Talia al Ghul in the final act. But still love this movie, so it's a 9.5, maybe 9.6 out of 10. Number 2 is The Batman. This is a 10 out of 10 movie. I have no issues with this movie. I don't care. The length, it doesn't matter to me. I think it is perfectly length. I can't wait for the sequel. I'm hoping they do Mr. Freeze, even though that might not fit in this universe. I still kind of see it. It's hard to say. I want either the Court of Owls or Mr. Freeze for the sequel. But I think that the action is just amazing. I think that's almost as good as that warehouse scene. Some people say it's better than the warehouse scene. Some people say it's not as good as the warehouse scene. I think the action is pretty close to the warehouse scene. But yeah, the Batman in this movie doesn't kill. I like that side of Batman. I think it's the perfect way to do Batman. Robert Pattinson is one of the best Batmans by far. The cinematography is the best cinematography out of all the Batman movies. I think this movie is just beautiful looking. The score is fantastic. The Riddler is a great villain. This movie has the greatest Catwoman, and Colin Farrell is so good as the Penguin. He did such a good job as the Penguin. I can't believe that's Colin Farrell. But yeah, I think this movie is a masterpiece, but there's just one masterpiece that has a good edge over it for one reason, and that is The Dark Knight the reason is Heath Ledger as the Joker. And my number one Batman movie is The Dark Knight. I think that Heath Ledger makes this easily the best Batman movie out of all of them. No matter if you make a better Batman movie, you can't beat Heath Ledger's Joker. No Joker is as good as it. They're kind of ruining the Joker right now. I think that the action is way better than Batman Begins. This is the best movie sequel this is probably the best movie sequel of all time. Just an awesome movie with all a fantastic Joker performance. Two-Face is so good in this movie. He is just a perfect example of how a good person can turn bad. And I think that it's just so good. It's a masterpiece. It's the greatest comic book movie of all time. Therefore, it is number 1. So, that's my ranking of all of the Batman movies. How do you rank the Batman movies? If the comments are turned on, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you next time.